You made sales this week, real ones, and your bank account is still almost empty. That's not bad luck. That's not a slow season. That's a specific, fixable problem that is silently eating every business that nobody ever warns about. And by the end of this video, you'll never be confused by it again. You check your account. Less than you expected. Again, you worked 6 days. You made sales. You did everything right. And somehow, the number is still wrong. According to a US bank study, 82% of businesses that fail were making sales when they closed. Not failing to get customers. Not selling a bad product. Selling, just like you. They just never understood what was happening to the money after it came in. This isn't about discipline. It isn't about effort. Nobody ever showed you how money actually moves inside a business. And that one missing lesson is costing you everything. Marco stares at his phone in the back of his food stall. Thursday night, Chicago, 10 p.m. He sold 340 plates this week. His best week ever. And he has $211 in his account. He counts the receipts again. 2,600 in sales. He was there for every single one. So where did 2,400 go? He wasn't reckless. He paid his rent, bought next week's ingredients, paid his staff, settled what he owed his supplier, paid for the new containers that arrived today. Every single decision made sense when he made it. That's what's killing him. He almost does what most people do in this moment. Blames himself, closes the notebook, tries harder next week. That one decision would have kept him stuck for years. Instead, he runs into Gloria the next morning. 11 years at the same market. Jerk Chicken stands 2 rows over. Marco tells her everything. Best week of sales, almost nothing left. No idea why. Gloria doesn't flinch. She just asks one question. When you price a plate, what number are you starting from? My ingredients cost, Marco says. What the food costs me, plus my margin. And the containers from yesterday? The supplier you paid off? The extra staff hours from last week? Marco opens his mouth. Close it. He had been pricing every plate against today's ingredient cost. Nothing else. All the other costs, the ones that stacked up quietly in the background, had nowhere to go except straight out of his bank account. Think of it like this. Imagine you drive for Uber. Every fare covers your fuel, but nobody told you to factor in your insurance, your car payment, your maintenance. So every ride feels profitable, but at the end of the month, nothing. Because 20 costs you forgot to count ate everything you earned. That was Marco's food stall. That night he listed every cost his business actually carried. Rent, packaging, staff, supplier payments, everything. Divided the total across every plate he sold. The real cost per plate, the full cost, was not what he thought. He adjusted his prices. Slightly. Just enough. 6 weeks later. Same number of sales. 580s left at the end of the week. He sat in the same chair. Same back room. Same notebook, same Marco, who finally understood what he was actually selling. If you've ever made sales and still felt broke, you were not imagining it. You were not bad at this, you were just carrying costs you had never learned to count. And you were pricing your product against an incomplete picture of your own business. That is not a character flaw. That is a gap in what anyone ever taught you. Here is what was actually happening to Marco, and what's probably happening to you. You price what you can see. Ingredients, materials, the thing you physically need to make the thing you sell. That feels right. It is right, but it's only half the picture. Because your business doesn't just cost ingredients. It costs packaging, rent, staff, subscriptions, supplier payments. Things that arrive this month, but were ordered last month. Things you'll pay for next month that are already being used today. Those costs are real. They're leaving your account every single week. But if they're not built into your price, they have nowhere to come from except your profits. So you sell and sell and sell. And the money comes in. And then it quietly bleeds out through every cost you forgot to count. That's not overspending. That's underpricing. Specifically, pricing against only the costs you can see and ignoring the ones quietly running in the background. Every sale that isn't covering its full share of your costs is a sale that's slowly draining you. And the more you sell, the faster it drains. That was Marco's problem. It wasn't his hustle. It wasn't his product. It was that every plate he sold was only carrying part of its weight. The rest was coming straight out of his pocket. Once you see that, the fix is simple. Do exactly what Marco did. Write down every cost your business carries in a month. Not just materials, everything. Rent, staff, packaging, subscriptions, delivery fees. That one payment plan you almost forgot about. Everything that leaves your account, expected or not. Add it all up. That's your real monthly cost of being in business. Now take that number and divide it by how many units you typically sell in a month. Not your best month, your normal month. That number, right there, is how much every single sale needs to contribute before you make $1 of actual profit. Add it to your material cost per unit. That's your real break-even price. Price below it, and every sale quietly costs you money. Price above it, and your business finally starts working. This is how small cafes survived competitive markets. They didn't price based on coffee beans alone. They priced for rent, labor, machines, downtime, everything. The full picture. Businesses that make this one adjustment typically retain 20 to 35% more cash every week without a single extra customer. You don't need more sales. You need each sale to carry its full weight. That's what changed everything for Marco. Not working harder, not selling more, just making sure every plate he sold was doing its actual job. Yours can too. Most people who struggle in business are not failing because they lack drive or talent or customers. They are failing because they never learned how money actually moves, how costs layer silently on top of each other, how a business can look busy and still be bleeding. First-generation entrepreneurs in the US and the UK are building everything from scratch with no financial map, pricing on instinct instead of structure, and wondering why working harder never seems to move the number. The problem is not effort. It has never been effort. The businesses that last are not the ones that hustle the hardest. They are the ones where every sale does its full job. Don't close this yet. What I'm about to tell you takes 10 minutes, and it might be the most important 10 minutes your business gets this week. Write down every single cost your business carried last month. Not just ingredients, everything. Add them up. Divide by how many units you sold. Then compare that number to what you actually charged. If they're closer than you expected, you just found exactly where your money went. Do that tonight, before you sleep, and then come back, because the next video is going to hit harder than this one. You now know where your money is going, but do you know the difference between cash flow, revenue, and profit? Most people don't. They think they do. They're wrong. And mixing them up leads to decisions that look completely smart, right up until they destroy your business. That video goes up next. Don't miss it. You didn't find this channel by accident, and you've been carrying this alone for long enough. Not anymore.